Memphis wrestling fans, as we said a little bit earlier, Mr. Goulas was on, and I should say he's the one that made mention of the fact that we would have another very interesting interview. An interesting interview we have, indeed, along with Terry Gordy and pretty boy Michael Hayes. It was indeed a pleasure on my behalf to watch the interview that Mr. Goulas made along with Len Rossi. It's certainly a pleasure to see Len Rossi, and I remember this gentleman very fondly many years ago when I wrestled him in North Carolina, and he was considered one of the top then, and of course he still is, and he's certainly to be complimented on the outstanding condition that this man is in. He's a great athlete, a great credit to professional wrestling, and it's certainly my pleasure to be associated with him in a little different light at this particular junction in our lives, but it's always a pleasure, and I think this man is indeed a credit to the wrestling profession, and I'm very happy indeed to see him on the comeback trail. I know that he and Jackie Fargo have been teaming up as tag team partners, and two gentlemen that they've thrown a challenge at and have yet to be answered, and we're going to have the opportunity to ask them right now what their answer would be. And I'd like to ask you, pretty boy Michael Hayes, along with your partner Terry Gordy, why haven't you answered the challenge of Len Rossi and Jackie Fargo to be held right here on television?
Look, we're not sadistic people, Tom Ernesto. We don't want to go out here and hurt these two senior citizens, you know, such as yourself. Here you are sitting here announcing. Well, that's what they need to be doing, announcing, or maybe, you know, throwing papers, give them a little paper out or something. You don't belong in the ring with young superstar athletes such as ourselves. Do you understand what I'm saying, boys? You know, my vocabulary may be a little bit too advanced for you because you probably didn't even finish school. But nevertheless, baby, if you get in the ring with us, you're going to get hurt. You're not playing with toys, you're playing with big men, not boys, baby. So understand what I got to say.
Well, let me ask you a question. I'd asked you last week about your training schedule and all, and I must give credit where credit is due, despite the fact your derogatory remarks toward people like Len Rossi as well as myself, those of us that you call senior citizens. But while I was riding today up Murfreesboro Road, up a mountain, up sort of a hill, I should say, I saw you running, stopped and spoke to you just for a moment, and obviously you had just started because you were, despite the fact that you were sweating profusely, you weren't breathing very hard.
Just started. Baby, I was on my 6th mile. What are you talking about? Just started.
Well, if that's the case, then I must give you credit for being in superb condition, and obviously this is one of the things that you and your partner do, is do a lot of road work.
Well, the other thing, you can't give me too much credit because I was behind Terry. He was still a mile ahead. He was on number 7. But that's right, because, you know, the championship, and when you're championship material, you have to stay in shape, baby, because we're taking on all challenges.
Well, thank you very much. Terry Gordy, I'd like to ask you a question, if I might. Do you do a lot of weight training, and just what aside from running, what else do you do?
Tom Ernesto, I don't know whether I feel like answering your question or not.
Well, I'm asking you, if you will, if you do me that favor, and I know we're imposing upon you.
Just like Michael said, baby, I was on my 7th mile today, and I was just fixing to go in and do my 300 push-ups for the day. Well, we do 600 altogether, but we do 300 at a time, right, Michael?
Well, that's right. You know, we don't want to get carried away.
Well, I understand that. Well, gentlemen, you still haven't answered the question about meeting Jackie Fargo and Len Rossi.
All right, look, then let me ask you a question. Do you want the responsibility on you and Nick Gould's shoulders when we retire them permanently? Because if you do, then sign the match, okay?
I would be.
But I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell them right now, that if you get in there, you're going to get hurt, baby, because you're playing with young superstars that are going to hurt you.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We sincerely hope that you will watch us again next week when NWA Championship Wrestling comes to your area.